Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. You know, I've been thinking, we have the new Toyota Tacoma coming, and am I gonna buy it if they actually make it look like a mini Tundra? If it takes a lot of features from the Tundra. You know, there's been some more of these renderings, pictures that have come out, and to me, it looks exactly like what they're gonna do. They're going to turn this truck into a mini Tundra. Now, they're probably doing that for manufacturing reasons. They already have the parts, the designs, everything for the Tundra, so they just shave a little bit off and shrink it down and turn it into a mini Tundra. But there's a few things to consider for me. Number one is the looks. You know, some of these renderings that I've seen, they don't look too great. It really does look like a mini Tundra, and I don't think I'm really digging that. One of the biggest things that I noticed, actually a couple, one, the front end, the grill area. I'm not real hip on that. I'm not sure that I really dig that, you know? And then we've got the wheel wells, and this is probably one of the most polarizing things for me. It seems like they're making them kind of square or putting some kind of an angle in them as opposed to just having them kind of like a semicircle like they are now, which I think is the best look for the truck. You know, a while back, the Chevy Silverado was changed to round out those fender wells. They got rid of that square look, which I always thought looked bad on the truck. Honestly, I kind of like the looks of the truck, except for that. Now, I think they have a pretty good looking truck, and I really hope Toyota doesn't do the same thing or something similar with the new Tacoma. Next up, the engine. This, I've gotten a lot of comments on the channel about. I think it's a given that Toyota's going to go to a 4-cylinder turbo. It's going to be a single turbo. Maybe someday down the road, if sales really go nuts and they have a little extra cash, they'll throw a twin turbo in it. But I don't see that happening. We're going to have a 4-cylinder turbo in the Tacoma. Now, that means that we're not going to have maybe as much long-term oomph as we have out of the truck right now. And I'm talking about reliability. One of the biggest arguments I hear against going with a turbo is the reliability of it, that they just don't last as long. Is it going to be the end of the 500,000 or million-mile Toyota Tacomas? You know, time will tell. Of course, things have been improved as new versions have been put out, but there's still that lingering idea that the turbos just are not going to last as long as they have in the past. Next up, let's talk about hauling and payload capacity. Of course, that's going to be affected. I mean, if you go with a smaller engine, a 4-cylinder turbo, we're going to lose some of that payload and hauling capacity. I think it's just a given. Now, for me, that's not really a big deal because, frankly, I don't haul or I don't tow anything with the Tacoma. And I really think that if you're going to do a lot of that kind of thing, you really should have a full-size truck anyway. You know, I get some questions on the channel. People ask about towing things that are right at the capacity or even a little over the capacity, the rated capacity of the Toyota Tacoma. And I always get this funny picture in my mind, this little dinky truck with some massive trailer on the back of it. You know, and going down the road and that trailer is just whipping the truck all over the place. I don't think it's a good idea. And I think just for weekend warriors and small hauling, maybe picking up the new big screen TV, the Tacoma is good for that. Not to say that it isn't capable to some degree, but it's certainly not capable of putting it through the paces that a full-size truck would be able to handle. Number 4, electronics and tech. There are a lot of purists out there that wish the truck still had the old roll-up windows and all the wire-connected buttons and things. I'm not one of them. You know, I love tech. I say bring it on, and I hope they do. The only issue I've seen with it is that Toyota has gone to this floating screen kind of thing for the infotainment system. In other words, it just kind of sits up above the dash, kind of doesn't look like it fits in there the right way. They've been doing it with everything. They did it with the new Tundra, if you go with the bigger screen, and they're doing it with all of the other models too, and I don't think it looks good. It just doesn't look integrated in the truck. And there's no reason why they can't do it. There are plenty of other versions of trucks and cars and things out there where it's nicely integrated into the dash area. Not sure why Toyota has chosen to go this route. Maybe it makes it easier to replace them. You know, one of the big arguments is that the more tech you have, the more problems you're going to have. So maybe if you just grab that giant iPad looking thing and pull it off and slap another one on, it's pretty easy. Maybe that's why they're doing it. I don't know. Number 5 rather, Modability. Now, this is one of the most important things to me, and I have fallen into this trap before in buying first generation vehicles. You know, recently I had a Hyundai Santa Cruz on the other channel, and while there were a few things to do to it, I discovered that the aftermarket, of course, had not caught up to it yet because it was a brand new model. It had just come out. And I think the same thing is going to happen with the Tacoma. You know, there will be a few aesthetic things and stuff like that, but we're not going to have the broad selection of different mods and things that we can get like we can with the third generation that's been out for years. Now, this will be a temporary problem, probably a year or two, but if you're like me and you like to do mods, get your hands dirty, personalize the truck, you're not going to have a lot of options at first. It's going to be a while before all of those things are available for the new redesigned Toyota Tacoma. Lastly, and this is really a positive. You know, all these sound pretty negative. I thought I'd throw a positive in there, and that is power and acceleration. And I'm really speaking about acceleration. I have to believe that with the redesigned Tacoma, Toyota is going to get rid of that Atkinson cycle thing. What creates the lag? You know, right now, if you don't do anything with it, it has a horrible lag to it. It makes the truck feel underpowered and slow. It's something that I really didn't like about the Tacoma. Fortunately, via the pedal commander, this isn't a commercial for pedal commander, but the throttle controllers allow you to get rid of that. That makes the truck what it should be. Certainly, Toyota has listened, and they're aware of the other models that are out there that don't have this built-in issue, and they'll get rid of that. So I think the new redesigned Toyota Tacoma is going to be void of that. In other words, it's going to go when you hit the gas, even though it's a 4-cylinder. Of course, the question will be, does the turbo last long enough to make it feel good? I've had other turbo vehicles in the past. You hit the gas, you get that immediate oof, but it's short-lived and it doesn't last. And when you're at speed, it's virtually useless. You can't punch it and get any extra because it's already been used. So hopefully Toyota will put the right turbo in it so that we can enjoy the truck. Those of us that like acceleration, I know everybody doesn't. There are few people, and it's really very few, that have commented on the channel that it's a truck. You shouldn't expect. Why? When I'm spending 40 plus grand, I expect. Anyway, those are just a few things to consider that I'm considering when it comes to replacing my current third generation Tacoma with the redesign that's coming probably for 2024. We shall see. Leave a comment. Let me know. Any of these things concern you? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Mod Driven, all about mods and things, to currently the Mercedes-Benz C300, and RobMotive JT, all about the Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? And while you're at it, smash the subscribe button here too. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.